night, and welcome back to the RuneTerra GGtoor tournament as we are going into the grand finals here with Pugs up against Scallywag. We watched a ton of games today. Zero, how are you feeling going into the last set?
I'm feeling super excited because we're gonna see again Pugs lineup, and this time it's gonna be the hardest challenge of all. Beating Swallywag's super anti-meta lineup with Aziri Relia and Mono Viego Shurima. This is gonna be so fun to watch.
Yeah, no, we've seen it a few times today. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of things that we're gonna have to keep an eye out for. Let's go ahead and take a real quick peek there at the bracket one more time. As we'd seen, Seri Vamos ended up falling to Pugs in the semifinals, and then Sin of Kira or Scallywag ended up taking it over Ghost or Driver. Again, congratulations to all of the competitors today, especially those who ended up reaching the top 8, the top cut. You know, it's been really tightly fought games across the board, so always happy to see just good Legend RuneTerra action, right?
And if I can say something both Sergit Vamos and Ghoster Driver are European players, and
yeah.
like me, this time for us is pretty late at night. So also props to them to being up and play until 2:45, which is the current time, the 2:45 a.m. to play Legends of Runeterra at the highest level.
Yeah, no, not the most friendly time in the world for EU, but either way, it was high level play across the board. We should be getting into game here in just a minute as both of our competitors should be banning right now. I mean, once again, Pugs' lineup has been that sort of cheesy Fizz Riven, Akshan Nar, and Alawi Ionia decks, which are a little bit weak to aggro, but have otherwise been really effective at just winning games. You just steal games out of nowhere, you just win games, and I love that type of lineup, especially this early in the season.
Yeah, I think it always works early in the season, like more than early in the season, because of course we're pretty much at the end of the season, but early in the patch.
Yeah, the patch kind of just happened, so it still feels like we're so early. Yeah. But either way, we're getting into game. We have Scallywag on our side, Pugs on the top side. It looks like it's going to be that PNZ Aphelios. Victor is the flavor here, so a little bit taller, a little bit more value. On the other side, Pugs is on that Nar Akshan, the Paper Nario deck that revolves around Papercraft Dragon, just getting slapped onto any Overwhelm unit and just showing a ton of damage. And we'll take a look here and see who ends up taking it at the end. Bird, though, is, slowly becoming, I say slowly, it's becoming one of the best top deck, or one of the best one-drops in the game, right?
Yeah, no Bard, but still a one-drop that gives you +1/+1 on one unit as soon as you draw a card. It's very similar to Omenok, if you think about it. Maybe Omenok is even a little bit stronger, but this card has more stats to actually go and trade. It's 2-1, and now immediately hitting the action, immediately getting a 3-3 quick attack on the field. This is gonna be so strong.
That's a 3-3 auction. You just paid 2 mana for a 3-3 quick attack that gives you value throughout the game. When did Draven become 2 mana? Hello?
Hello.
God, I Bird is such an insane card, and with that, dissuading the swing from Scallywag, just means that our Pokestick is going to be able to find some sort of a kill later on. It's just it's so wild here. This Akshan in every single deck that he's in is just so much better when you draw him early, right? So the fact that we found him this early, the fact that he's this big and is basically going to be unkillable, oh my god, what an insane start.
Honestly, as an Action Infinite player, of course you can still win even if you don't draw immediately the action, but having action on 2 gives your game plan such a boost, and you can instantly turbo flip the first landmark. It's so strong. Action on 2 is one of the best units in the game.
It's so good. I wonder if Scallywag is considering a double Mystic Shot right now onto Akshan. I could just feel it. They're staring at it for so long. There aren't a lot of options available to you. I wonder if that was what they were thinking about.
You know what they say? the Squallywag was staring into the abyss, and the abyss was staring back.
Yeah. That said, Aphelios going to be able to come down here really valuable because you get the weapons. Calibrum and Gravitum are both incredibly good at popping spell shields. And as we see that Ruin Runner in hand, being able to pop those spell shields is going to be really valuable here.
Yeah, and I think we have to prepare against that Ruin Runner. We know that our opponent's plan is basically all revolving around playing that Ruin Runner plus the Papercraft Dragon, getting quick attack, dealing a lot of damage to us, and eventually killing us. So we know our opponent's game plan, we can play around it.
Yeah, the swing going to come out after a Pale. Pale, kind of a pretty solid trade against the Pokey Stick. Get a little bit of damage in, cycle it. Gnar top deck does end up coming down here and potentially could get shot. You know, a couple Mystic shots would end up taking him down, but I think that Aphelios' progression here is pretty valuable as well. You know, sort of punishing any sort of develop next turn by being able to Calibrum. You know, it definitely feels pretty nice here.
Is it develop even more though? You have two quick attack units, you have both of your champions in play, and you want mana to be able to defend them, you know. So I think just an open attack is super strong here.
Open attack is representing quite a bit, especially with this top deck Flame Spitter. Anything that you don't block here is just going to get a Flame Spitter slapped on. With the Deny backing it up, there could be a lot of damage being represented this turn because Scallywag obviously doesn't want to block with Aphelios. If you lose your Aphelios, that just feels terrible.
Yeah, you don't even have second Aphelios in hand, even if you have a lot of cards. So essentially it would feel, yeah, absolutely terrible. You don't even have that much juice to rebuild your board because yes, you have of course this the Sump Dredger, you can discard the Flame Chomper, we have the Pharaohs, but not much more beyond that.
Yeah, a little bit of value generation, but again, without the Aphelios, it just looks so much worse. A block, if it gets committed here, again, I think we're just going to slap on a Flame Spitter, have a Deny backup, and suddenly Scallywag is in a rough position. Pugs deciding to just say okay. Perhaps wanting to play around like double Get Excited or something like that. You know, they don't want to lose their units. Just accepting, hey, I'm getting my 3 damage in. I'm getting a Pokey Stick, and I'm flipping my Gnar. What more could I want in this world?
Yeah, man, Pokestick is such a fun card. Like Pokestick, like if you know actually the story behind the card, and if you read like all the lore, it's like super fun because it's literally a Pokestick.
Yeah, I mean the best way, the first rule of experimentation: poke it and see what happens. And frankly, this Pokestick is going to do a whole lot of poking this game. You know, it's such a good card. I love Pokestick. Alright, there's the Gnar flip, there's the Ruined Runner. We've been able to develop everything out, and we'll be able to just hold up Deny for the rest of the game. That's something that's really important with this deck, is if this deck is ever able to get its Spell Shield units down, or the Papercraft Dragon down, you know, while being able to hold up Deny, like, it's just such a huge boon for them. We do see the Calibrum coming out, popping the Spell Shield. I think it's likely that we just see a pass from Pugs, because if Gravitum comes out, well, I don't know. You have the Gnar. I guess you just slap Papercraft on Gnar, huh?
Yeah, you might. You actually just might.
It's a really difficult combo to deal with. You kind of have to have Hush. If I remember correctly, Scallywag, I believe, is running the one of Moonlight Affliction. Is that right?
Yeah, should be.
So the one of Moonlight Affliction does end up denying the Overwhelm from this Mega Gnar, which means that potentially they could survive through next turn. But otherwise, I mean, you're staring down a big Gnar. And that Gnar just represents so much damage, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Oh, Sunburst is okay. It's fine. It's fine. We'll see what they decide to go with here. It looks like it is going to be the Sputtering Song Spinner. So, you know, having the extra card generation, having that available, deciding that that's what they want. Gravitum going to come out and sort of lock up this Ruin Runner, make sure that it's in Gravitum jail. for the rest of the game, there is still a pretty big attack here that's going to be represented. You pull Aphelios to the side, maybe try and force a block out of Gnar, and then you can shoot it later. I think it's a pretty good line here from Scallywag to try and put Pugs on the back foot.
Yeah, for sure. And here, yeah, we see more and more development from Squallywag. We tap out of every mana, every possible mana. We have the option to go for a very big swing, but even that, is it gonna be fine? Because Pugs can actually value trade some of our units, and yeah, we are dealing a lot of damage, but we are not in range of lethal with at the burn we currently have in hand. Maybe, are we?
Depending on how Gnar decides to block here, if you're super greedy, if you only block 2, then that ends up putting you at 6 HP, so technically within burn lethal. But the double deny in the hand of Pugs is just going to put out so much work. It looks like they're going to end up going for a 3 block here, which puts them down to 7 health. Again, technically lethal. But, I mean, Pugs, this deck runs triple deny. Triple deny is just so good in these types of situations and is very likely to be enough to seal this away. Big Gnar is going to open attack. We have mana for both of them. We can use our, what's it called? Our Shapestone even, just to be able to get that extra bit of damage if we need it. They're going to use the Relic of Power, draw 1 card here, and it is going to be the Wallop, which is pretty solid. Wallop kind of makes sure that you're just never dying to board damage again, which is of course valuable.
A Wallop is basically your insurance, your insurance that you're never gonna die from an attack. You are 7 HP, but 7 HP are absolutely fine. You mentioned it's double deny or double retro negation, gives us basically invincibility in that, and this is just gonna be 11 damage coming through plus the Pokestick. It's lethal.
This is a bad pull, I think. I think that you're supposed to pull the 4/3 with Auction. That way any... I mean, I assume there's no healing on the side of Scallywag. But he does have the Sputtering Song Spinner. He could say okay right now, and then Sputtering Song Spinner and hope to get something to survive the Pokestick. Honestly, that's a better shot than trying to throw spells at this Gnar and actually kill him, or just throwing everything face and just like crossing your fingers so the opponent doesn't have to die. They just attacked with 9 mana up. I think they have it.
If I were Pugs, maybe I would have committed the
Shapestone.
The 1 mana spell, the Shapestone, because we still have mana for double deny, and we force we force the opponent to play stuff.
I 100% agree. You're really only giving your opponent outs. I mean, the opponent, like Scallywag, should just be dead here 100%. But if they do Sputtering Song Spinner and hit like double Guiding Touch, suddenly they have a shot at winning this game. You know, as crazy as it is, the new card text on Sputtering Song Spinner just means a 2 mana card that you have not played yet this game. Oh, and it looks like Scallywag is just deciding to burn on the stack here, throw everything face, and that is just going to end up getting denied. And Pugs is going to be able to take game number 1. The Paper Nario is just too strong here. Going to be able to pick up game number 1.
Name. Yeah, I love the name, and like these Pugs with his Vandal City Shurima deck just takes the win on game 1 of the Grand Finals. I'm super excited for game 2 because now we have the back-to-back play for Swallywag with his Targon PNZ decklist, and I think this time it's not gonna be as easy, but we may see the we don't actually see the other deck ban. We see actually the Fitzraven. I thought maybe Swallywag had banned the Eloy decklist, but instead he has banned Fitzraven. I thought he had banned the Fitzraven, but he has banned the Eloy decklist.
Yeah, Fitzraven I think is one that has been banned most of the day. We've only seen Pugs play it like once, so seeing them here having the opportunity to sort of flex with it, Fitzraven is a very strong deck. Once again, you know, it's sort of a run back to last game where this Papercraft Dragon just is so powerful and it's so difficult for so many decks to deal with. Scallywag though has the Vi in the opening hand, and that's really nice actually. Vi going to be able to pressure stuff like Riven, pressure stuff like the Fizz, which is of course really valuable here. Foro Cannon's also pretty good because it means that Fizz isn't showing lethal unless you slap Overwhelm on him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Overwhelmed, Quick Attack, and all that good cards. Fizz, of course, it's not in the end of Pugs at the moment, but we have a lot of weekend draw. We're kind of cycling. We get a Librarian, which yeah, it's not a Fizz, but could do for the early game, you know.
Librarian is so good here because if you slap the makeshift shield onto the Librarian, it becomes a 3/4. And a 3/4 that your opponent doesn't want to block is very difficult to deal with. Now, it looks like it would just end up getting run into a Pale Cascade, which is a little bit annoying. But either way, you know, it's sort of a 2-card combo that's really valuable in these types of decks.
Yeah. Now though you mentioned it, Pale Cascade coming through, we only have the Face Sprout as really a unit to play unless we top deck the Fizz that we really need or a Riven. So Pugs is really not in the best of spots right now just because he doesn't have that many units to actually use his attached units on.
Until this draw of the Sketcher, Scallywag was in a really similar situation. Both of them only had 5-cost units in hand, but the Sketcher is going to be really nice. It gives them value to discard this Chompers. They can go for Messenger here to draw another card, or Crescent Strike to sort of punish a develop on like a flipped Riven. Either way, nothing but good hits here for the side of Scallywag. We're going to see the Face Sprout come out and see what they end up picking up here. And it is going to be another Librarian.
They just never stop coming, you know. They're just there, the Librarians in the void of space, in the void of, you know, whatever is where Fez are from, and they just keep coming.
Riven is such a good draw here, especially if they do end up hitting the Overwhelm thing. I think that's +2 attack. I don't think that's the Overwhelm one. I can't quite tell by the picture. But if it is Overwhelm, then you could just slap that on the Librarian. You know, the Vi coming down sort of ruins that and makes it a little bit difficult. But Overwhelm on Librarian is just so valuable because it's basically confirming that you're going to be able to get that... go ahead and get that extra card. It looks like it is the Overwhelm Blade Fragment. Okay, so I might have been wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. We also top deck the Might. We immediately see the combo potentially coming through from next turn onwards. With Might plus Papercraft Dragon on one unit, they can actually destroy, dismantle Squallywag's Nexus.
Yeah, and Pugs is just willing to pass forever. They will not use anything until this Vi ends up attacking. You know, and if Vi passes here, then Pugs is happy to say, okay, I'll just develop out my my double attack next turn.
Ooh, okay, we actually see this very aggressive Mystic Shot play from Squallywag here just to get Vi in range of level up against, of course, if she is gonna challenge the Riven to get level up to potentially also start dealing that 5 damage over and over and over again. Or even then, you don't even need to grab the Riven with the Vi. You can just swing in directly with the Vi on the next.
Yeah, you have the Chompers available, so this kind of pressures Pugs to actually develop out a unit here. Otherwise, they're facing down 12 damage to face, right? So this is sort of breaking the stalemate. You can Face Sprout here, look for another unit, see if there's something else you want to do. Because if you don't develop, you're risking just dying to burn. 12 damage coming through. You're down to 7. Just one more burn spell off the top. Give Scallywag lethal.
Or even just one more attack with the Riven, you know, not Riven, with Vi, because Vi attacking from now onwards, striking, she's gonna deal 5 damage to your opponent Nexus every single time, but instead decides to go for the grab on the Vi, and the Vi here could actually just be traded.
Yeah, I think that this makes a lot of sense. I think it's a much safer option. Now we are going to see the barrier come out, the friendship. It's just going to end up getting popped by the Get Excited. But yeah, I think it's a much safer option instead of just putting the 12 face. Since we don't have the burn in our hand, it's much safer to just get rid of the Riven and make sure that they're not able to develop the double attack unit.
Yeah, let's see if Squallywag actually goes for the get excited play on the Riven to get rid of the barrier. I don't think they're gonna go for it,
I
but
kind of think you
if they
have
are,
to. The issue is wallop, right? So if opponent has wallop, then this
yeah,
is just like a
mm,
huge blowout. But
yeah,
I
that's
think you have
true.
to. If you don't, then they just get to double attack Riven and they kill you on open.
Yeah, that's kind of true. That's kind of true because they would have like 5 mana to develop immediately now. The double attack Riven plus 7 mana on next turn, which is absolutely unsustainable. And yeah, I agree with you. This is absolutely what he had to do. Like I wasn't thinking about it, but yeah, very good, very well played from Squallywag here, recognizing his win condition, leveling up the Vi, and from now on, Vi gonna deal 5 damage per strike.
Yeah. And now Pugs? Pugs is really praying for a top deck Fizz. If you top deck Fizz, I think that you can still try and find a lethal next turn. 20 is a lot to deal, but you can get really close. And we actually see Face Sprout grabbing Grandpa Faye. Grandpa Faye ends up giving you an Owlcat as well. So Spell Shield unit, slap double check on that, and you can start applying a little bit of pressure. But it does mean that we aren't going to be finding an OTK next turn.
I mean, the old cat plus the old cat getting buffed by the Grandpa Fae is very scary.
Yeah, it's definitely a fair bit of attack. I don't think it's enough to actually show lethal because you have to spend the mana on the Owlcat. You have to spend 5 on your double attack, and then you have to slap Overwhelm on it. There's just so many cards that you have to spend. Now, I really like the way that Scallywag has played the last couple turns because it's very important against these Papercraft Dragon decks to make sure they aren't able to happily place down Papercraft. You have to continually pressure them over and over and over and over and over to make sure that they don't get it down onto a unit, because the moment they do and have mana on the next turn, you're almost certainly going to die.
Yeah, I am thinking now. Do we have lethal if we play Papercraft immediately on the Grandfather Fair? Because we have 4/4, then we can get +6, so we could get actually an 11/11, but it wouldn't be enough, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Hearthstone lethal. It doesn't quite get you there, and even then, like the Crescent Strike would actually just be so valuable there. If you end up all-inning on your Grandpa Faye and it just eats a stun, that'd feel pretty bad. We are going a little bit wide here. The issue is there's a Winding Light in the hand on the side of Scallywag, and that might just represent lethal next turn.
Yeah, it actually does, because it also gives Overwhelm to the Vi. Vi already dealing +5 damage because of the level up. This is just gonna be lethal, and Squallywag, I mentioned it back to back. These kind of decks, he knows how to play it like basically by perfection, and just takes the win in the second games of the final. We are gonna see a game 3. We're gonna see the final game. Pugs absolutely destroyed this game, couldn't get the lethal, and we are gonna see another time Fitzriven.
Yeah, and once again, just really well played by Scallywag to make sure that Pugs was always on the back foot. Not able to find the Papercraft combo this time around. We'll have to see what Scallywag's last deck is, and it looks like it's the Azir Irelia, the deck that we've been talking about all day as being such a good counter to the meta, such a good approach to beating a lot of the top decks. Unfortunately, Fitzriven I don't think is one of the ones that you're accounting for when you're bringing Azir Irelia. Let me see if I can find a matchup table on it, because I'm not sure how it goes.
Okay, Azir Irelia historically is losing to aggro. Now, Fitzriven is not aggro, but is an OTK, which is a little bit weird, like in classification, you know, to classify the deck, to get it into a category. So maybe the matchup can be better than we think, but still, like the core, if we get the Fizz online, like the thing is, Australia can aggro us and can deal a lot of damage, but Pugs' deck, if it gets the right play, the right spots, and the right units on the board, can absolutely win.
Definitely the case, and even looking at the matchup table, it's actually 51% in favor of Fitzriven, which means it's about as close a matchup as it gets.
50-50.
Yeah. We do see, though, the Deus as well as Irelia is just so good. The Attune fixes what used to be a really bad curve. This is such a huge representation of that Irelia buff right here. That said, we do see a Riven in the hand of Pugs. We see a Friendship to stop like any sort of recall on the Riven, and we see double attack. There's a lot in the hand of Pugs, and I think that if Scallywag isn't able to find a lethal by turn 6, that's the one we need to keep an eye on. I think turn 6 is Pugs' lethal turn.
Yeah, but basically always, like, if you remember, like, I think it was on the top 8 match, or maybe even before, like, the last match of Swiss, we were talking about packs playing the speeds Riven, and the lethal turn was always turn 6, if you have attack talker on events, because it's so strong. Like, you can play the Papercraft Dragon on turn 5, have 6 full mana to play with on turn 7, turn 6, and that means so much.
Yeah, no, it's so valuable, especially since you're looking at the hand of Scallywag. You don't have any recalls, right? So even if Pugs is a little bit greedy, ends up tapping out, you don't have a way to punish it. Now, we do have the Azir, though. Azir is huge. We also have Duo, potentially could be finding a lethal next turn. You need to find a lethal or some sort of interaction, but I mean, this is kind of a miracle hand out of Scallywag, right? You have the stage hand if they ever develop. You have this Azir in hand. You're honestly in a pretty okay spot. This is like 2 glass cannons just staring at each other, and whichever one is able to go off first, whichever one is able to take out the other first, just automatically wins.
Yeah, it's a duel. It's literally a Far West duel, you know? Who shoots first actually wins. The thing is, you have to shoot first, but shoot precisely at the head of your opponent. Shoot to kill, not to wound. And that's gonna be a problem for Scallywag. He has to play Duo probably this round, and Duo can't of course block, but if he can't find lethal next turn, it's just gonna be GG.
Yeah, Azir plus Duo plus Stagehand. We're 1 mana off of playing the Duet as well. I think if we had 1 more mana, we'd probably find lethal. Stagehand actually coming out this turn to dissuade Pugs from getting any kind of damage down. Honestly, probably a good play, just to play safe, but maybe you're playing too safe. Maybe you can't find a lethal on your next turn, and maybe that's enough to just set you back. Dunekeeper means that we have a pretty aggressive turn here, but I don't think we could find lethal.
No, there is no way. There is no way to find lethal. Azir is 2 behind on the level up. Irelia as well. You're never gonna find the level up fast enough to get enough damage in.
Azir is gonna end up leveling off of this Duet, but that means that there are 4 units that you get free blocks on if you're Pugs. You know, you get your last set of blocks. Oh my god, there's the Papercraft coming down, and Scallywag knows. Scallywag knows that next turn, if you go in and you haven't killed your opponent, you're dead. Azir does end up flipping here. I don't know if they can flip Irelia. We'll have to look.
Okay, tell the people. First of all, is Irelia gonna flip? Irelia is 9.
So if we develop out the Dunekeeper, we do get an Irelia flip, which is definitely nice for Irelia. It's actually really interesting that we took a block with the Squire, but not with the Librarian. Hello?
I don't think it matters. Yeah, I agree. It was 1 less damage that we could take. The free block on the Librarian. It's pretty strange, honestly.
Are we dead? Wait, there's so much damage coming out. Wait.
No.
If we throw, we have to block with Riven. I think because we didn't take our free block, we have to block with Riven.
No, wait. Is it because of it? No, it was 1 damage. It doesn't matter. No, it was 1 damage.
2 damage. It was 2 damage.
2?
Now, admittedly, we might have had to block with Riven anyway. But that means that we just shouldn't have played Papercraft this turn. We end up losing we lose our Riven. We lose the mana that we put into the Papercraft, and we're going down to 2 HP. Such a huge turn here. The flipped Azir, the flipped Irelia means that we can't take the kind of blocks that we want to take here.
Yeah, this is so bad. This is so bad for Pugs. He was so close of to finding lethal 1 mana of to playing friendship. If you could play friendship this turn, it would be so much easier because
Yeah.
Riven would stay alive and then you would have enough mana to play anything you want next turn. But it's not the case. And here, actually, this is gonna be lethal because like Irelia can just be swapped with a Sand Soldier, and I don't
no,
know
wait,
if there
you're
is a way
right.
to stop this.
Well, no. Is it lethal? They swap with a Zero. That's lethal. It looks like it is. And Scallywag is able to find the lethal on turn 5. Pugs gets a little bit too comfortable. Slaps the double attack onto Riven. And what an insane hand there. What an insane play. Azir Irelia with the buff is just able to flip their champion so early. It was like a PTSD trip straight back to last, a few seasons back. Unnerfed Azir Irelia. Oh my god.
Yeah, and guys, tell the people that Azir Irelia won the Mastering RuneTerra GGtoor tournament and is back in the meta. Squallywag, Pasquale, Sin of Kira with a huge play of Azir Irelia, getting the win of the entire tournament.
Yeah, what a play there. What a bring. We talked about how it was attacking the meta in such an intelligent way and so well played there by Scallywag. We had written it off. We thought that they weren't going to be able to find lethal that turn, but just enough, just barely enough. And wow, what a line of play. What a way to end this tournament. Congratulations to Scallywag. Once again, congratulations to everybody who ended up playing today, especially those who top cut. But wow, what a tournament. What a tournament.
And what a way to finish it off. With a Nazirelia swing, like infinite damage, OTK in one turn. We said it was a Far West duel from between cowboys. And Squallywag shot first, shot Pugs right in the eye, killing him in one single move. GG.
Yeah, very well played. Wow. And I guess that's it. Here at the Master RuneTerra GGtoor tournament. Gonna be able to crown our victor there. What a day of games. Honestly, I had a great time, Zero.
Thank you. No, I had a great time too. Like, honestly, we had casted, I think once before together, but I had a great time, and thank you for also doing production and stuff. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah, and thank you to Gregory behind the scenes running everything as well. Running the second hand, running the tournament, tons of fun. Either way, that's gonna be it for us here. Appreciate you all for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. And appreciate GGtoor for sponsoring this. And we'll go and call it here. Thank you so much, and have a good night.
Bye, guys.